This is Sims, and we are back with more Taisho Alice. Yay! And the last part was the funniest fucking part in this entire game. God, Red just giving us all the laughs. I mean, let's see what happens in this one. So, anyway. The next morning, I woke up and headed off to cook breakfast and prepare our lunches for the day. Same as always. Man, we got over our cold fast. Don't you think you should rest? Surely it couldn't hurt to miss just one day of school. When did he change? He's changed his clothes. He's not in his uniform. I'm fine. I was in the kitchen humming while I peeled potatoes. Today I was planning to make... I have no idea what that is. I can't pronounce that. I can't even begin. Anyway. A thick soup traditionally served cold. Isn't it like gazpacho? Isn't gazpacho like a soup that's served cold? I don't know, something like that. Anyway. Just as I was debating whether to make gratin for our lunches... You knew it. You're still under the weather. Can we, like... Does this close the thing or the game? Closes that. What is he wearing? I love it. Oh, sweetie, you changed and we haven't noticed. I noticed. Anyway, it's no big deal. I beg to differ. No cold on earth lasts just one day. If you don't get your rest, it'll come back to bite you. And then where will we be? But I need to make these lunches. And I need to cook for you. Has your fever gone to your head, Miss Arisu? I'm not a child. I can feed myself just fine. I don't know. Besides, are you suggesting you're obligated to prepare those lunches? Even at the cost of your own health? Is it worth sacrificing your health to make lunch for everyone? Yes, I want to do the most I can, or no, I'll stop. Woo! Sometimes the simplest decisions are the hardest ones. I want to do the most I can, so I'm willing to sacrifice my health. Or like, no, I'll stop. I don't know what the right answer is, honestly, but me personally, I'd be like, fuck it. Not because I want to do the most I can to help people. Is it worth sacrificing your health? I mean, I don't go to the doctor, so clearly I sacrifice my health on the daily. Just saying. One of these days, I'm going to go and they'll be like, you know what? You have XYZ, and if you had come to us 30 years ago, you wouldn't be dying. And I'd be like, well, didn't want to go. So, I'm just saying. It'll probably be when I drop dead from a heart attack at my desk at work, because that's my retirement plan. So, I'm just saying. So, sure. I just want to do the most that I can, that's all. For whose benefit? Who stands to gain from you doing this? The people who eat my cooking? That sounds really self-absorbed. Well, the people who eat my cooking gain because I'm so great. Me, I gain something from it. Because I feel good about myself. Okay, I mean, I could get that. Not sure. Me? Truthfully, I'm probably just doing it for my own sake. I want to feel needed, you know? I want everyone to praise me and tell me I'm an angel. Okay, I don't like that answer. Alright, that was wrong. That's not it. I gained something from it. I literally was thinking, like, I do. I give people, and then they're happy, and that makes me feel good. Not, I want people to praise me and tell me I'm awesome. That's not where I thought that was going. So I admit that that was the wrong choice. Because now we sound like an asshole. Like, alright. I see. Not to make excuses or anything, but I get the feeling this world is full of people who feel the same way. What about you, Red? Yeah, we're getting a bad ending so hard because that was so not right. Like, we probably should have said no. I'll stop. But, yeah, who benefits from this? Me. Again. Oh, because it makes people happy and then I feel happy and that's cool. I mean, yeah, so like, other people get to be happy, I get to be happy, everyone gets to be happy. It's kind of like a selfish thing, but it's a nice selfish thing. Not like, I want people to tell me I'm amazing and fall in love with me, even though I'm just doing it for them to like me. Like, that's douchey. Not, again, I did not see that happening that way, but okay. I'm not sure. Huh. I put down the half-peeled potato and exhaled. I wasn't disappointed or anything, just short of breath. It was proof that the sickness was still taking its toll on my body. You're right. I should call out sick today. A wise decision, Miss Taisho. And now step away from there. I shall be the one to clean up. But I can handle it. I don't have a fever anymore. No buts. Now go and rest. He shooed me away. Are you hungry by chance? I could eat. I mean, so could I. I'm actually feeling hungry. In that case, I have a seat on the sofa. You're gonna cook for me? Nothing more fancy than yesterday's porridge, mind you. Yay! Or is that a yay? I don't know. What are you so happy about? Just hurry up and get out of here. I can't cook with you hovering around. Okay. Resisting the urge to hug him, I backed up a few steps as Red picked up my half-peeled potato and continued on in my stead. Oh, Red, that's not safe. You have to keep your thumb above the blade. Stay back! He pointed the knife at me and I raised both hands in surrender. Jesus! He's got some serious fucking issues. The breakfast menu had changed from whatever the fuck that is to baked potatoes and canned meat. It's really good. I see. This canned stuff isn't half bad. In front of me was a tin of meat and a plate of potatoes. Oh, this corned beef goes great on top of the potatoes. I should try to cook something with this sometime. Yeah, canned meat is not terrible all the time, but like, it's terrible all the time. It's not terrible once in a while. It's terrible all the time. That's what I meant to say. Like, that's all you eat. My God, you're gonna die. Like, but like, you know, once in a while, it's fine. As I learned from yesterday's porridge, the canned meat was heavily seasoned, which made it the perfect match for something plain and starchy. As usual, Red ate his meal in silence. I forgot if I asked you before, but do you eat this stuff every day usually? Yes. And you don't get bored of it? Not really. I also eat at restaurants on occasion. Yeah? What do you order? Hamburgers and such. Oh, that sounds good. So which is your favorite of the two? Mackerel or corned beef? Corned beef? That shit will really kill you. Like, that, like, is so not good for you. It's really good on St. Patrick's Day, but it's like the only time you eat it. I see. You must be a real carnivore then. Talking to you always feels like an interrogation. Yeah, I know. I do it on purpose. I smiled brightly. Yes, I like meat. He sighed reluctantly. Gotcha. In that case, I should cook us some meat sometime. What else do you like to eat? What? Nothing. Kids. I like to eat children. I'm an evil monster. Maybe that's what it is. He's like, I'm a werewolf. Oh, if I see a girl naked, I'm gonna like turn into a wolf. Like, that's weird. That usually just happens on full moon, dumbass. Like, that's what the nosebleed start. It starts with a nosebleed, and then I just rip out of my flesh. Oh God, that's not what's happening here, is it? Because that's going to be some kind of fucked up path. But after breakfast, I sat down on my bed and fawned over the carnation Red had bought for me. You really seem to like that flower, don't you? Of course, I love it. I see. He briskly prepared my medicine as well as a glass of water. After you take your medicine, try to get some rest. Oh, some sleep, sorry. I swallowed the medicine and flopped down on my side. But I'm not sleepy. Try anyway. Could you tell me a story or something? I am not your servant. Yeah, I know that. You're my friend. No, I am not. Okay then, you're my guardian. And I don't mean parental figure. Yes, I get that. You're so persistent. I know, right? I shot him a smug grin. It wasn't a compliment. Are you afraid of catching my cold? Not in the least. Oh, somebody's a badass. I gave him a round of applause. Unlike you, I have a hard body. You're a man, after all. Right. Yeah, you're a man. I guess I never really thought about it. I made sure to emphasize his masculinity. Come to think of it, you must get bored of sitting around while I'm sleeping. Feel free to come and go as you please. You appear to be far too trusting of me. I may be a police officer, but I'm not a member of this household. I know that, but you are technically my roommate, at least for now. And also, you're a police officer, so you should have way more of a moral compass than my family or a house guest, is all I'm saying. And what if I was a bad person? Are you? I was like, the game didn't skip. I was like, is he debating? Like, no, I am not. Of course not. Cops are the good guys, right? Besides, I trust you. You're very good at throwing me off. Your statement appears innocuous at first glance, but really you're hinting at me to treat you nicely. Is that against the rules? No. I imagine that crafty mind of yours is all that's kept you alive thus far. And without it, someone would have taken advantage of me by now. Is that it? Are all women pure-hearted damsels who exist to be preyed upon? It is perhaps an outmoded way of thinking, but one that originates from men's undeniably superior strength. Physical, maybe. But you clearly have no mental strength. All it takes is a girl touching you, and you fucking fall the hell apart. So I'm just saying... you know what? Look. One-on-one combat, I'd kick your ass. And he would be like, I highly doubt that. Really? Come over here, then. Well, no. Yeah, right. Because you won't touch me. All I'd have to do is basically poke you, and you'd fucking fall into a puddle, curl up on the floor, and cry. Girl touched me. So I'm just saying, I want to hear that bullshit from you. God damn lily-livered pansy. He's so full of it. Anyway. Right. If you pinned me down, I wouldn't stand a chance of fighting you off. Oh god, is he gonna get rapey with us? That's gonna be weird. For the record, though, some of us want to be preyed upon. Woo, girl! Getting your kinks out! I smiled affably. That's immoral. He screamed at me, his face red as a tomato. Oh boy, his mommy did a number on him. Don't forget, some girls are hunters, too. Mr. Big Bad Wolf doesn't stand a chance. Bang, bang! I took aim with an imaginary hunting rifle and fired. He clutched at his chest with both hands. Wait, what? And that was the moment Red passed out on the floor. He can't handle how much he wants us. Is he the wolf? After we met at the lake and he acknowledged me as a comrade, we would play together every day. You know what? You should come over to my house today. One day he invited me over to his house. Grandma, I brought him! When we arrived, his grandmother was there to greet us. Oh my, what a sweet little boy! Oh god, she's gonna eat us! I don't know. As soon as she saw me, she reached out with a wizened hand and stroked my hair. No one had ever touched me that way before. So on instinct, I swatted her hand away. The heck are you doing to my grandma, you punk? Out of nowhere, he leapt at me. We got into a vicious scuffle, pulling each other's hair and clawing at each other's faces. Boys, that's enough! Ouch! Our fight ended the same way it started, with grandmother's hands. As we pinched each other's cheeks, she swatted us both over the head, and so the fight ended in a draw. You don't gotta hit me too! Beg your pardon? You were the one who started it, young man. Now apologize. I'm sorry. Pouting, he thrust out his hand. And now it's your turn. Once I reluctantly apologized, grandmother seized my hand and pressed it against his in a forceful handshake. Forced handshake. And now you're friends again. Friendship is more fun than fighting, wouldn't you say? She smiled brightly. I don't know why Grandma doesn't have Grandma Spacey voice. I don't know why she's got some other Grandma voice. I don't know what happened there.
To celebrate your renewed friendship, I'll serve you some cake and grape juice. Yay! Grandma's cake is the best!
And fucking grape juice, man. You know the best grape juice was the Grover grape juice? They used to have, like, the Sesame Street juices, but you could only get it in the little, like, tiny, like, took 2 sips of the little juice, not the pouches, but the juice boxes. Yeah. And it was such good grape juice, motherfucker, but, like, nobody likes Grover, man. You don't want to make Grover grape juice. Like, what the fuck? God, I want some fucking grape juice now. Like, you either, like, love grape juice and, like, weird faux grape flavored shit, or you, like, fucking hate that shit. But I'm like, grape juice is good, and, like, fucking grape jelly is the fucking shit, man. It's always weird, because, like, people will be like, peanut butter and, like, strawberry jelly, and you're like, which isn't bad, because I put peanut butter in my strawberry ice cream, so, like, peanut butter and strawberry is pretty good. I've never put an actual strawberry in peanut butter, but, like, you know, so, like, yeah, I could understand why that's good, but there's something in my brain that's like, fuck that shit, it's gotta be grape jelly. Grape jelly! I don't know why, but grape jelly with peanut butter, that's just the way it is. And you know what? Leave now if you even said peach, because that's just gross. Peach. Ugh. I could probably eat a peach, like, I don't mind, but, like, peach-flavored shit? Ugh. Gross. It's grape jelly with your peanut butter, and now I want a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, goddammit. Anyway, from the way he smiled, you'd never guess the two of us were bickering just moments ago. Unlike me, he was always so emotionally expressive. I envied that about him, and yet at the same time, part of me despised it.
It's so good! I'm glad to hear it. See, isn't my grandma's cake the best cake ever?
Or the best ever. I nodded. It was a bit plain to be considered cake by most standards, but I wasn't that familiar with cake to begin with, and it was my first time eating one that wasn't store-bought. I savored every bite, cherishing it while I still had it. Grandmother seemed to realize this because she told me,
Don't be shy now. There's plenty more where that came from. You gotta eat your fill or you won't grow up big and strong. Yeah, and I'm gonna get really big. That's the spirit. I can't wait to see you all grown up.
From then on, Grandmother made us dozens of cakes.
My grandma's so talented. She made this riding hood herself.
He was always wearing a cloak of some kind, and truth be told, it was really badass. I love how it's like, 10-year-old, it was badass. Like, apparently his grandmother could do just about anything, from baking to sewing. He loved her so much he would brag about her constantly, and in due time I grew attached to her as well. That's the house he went to and everybody was dead.
Come here, sweetheart.
One day I was playing at his house, as per usual, when his grandmother waved me over. They both had big grins on their faces. Before I could question it, however, a bundle of fabric fell over my head. Huh? My vision was obscured by pure scarlet, and I began to panic.
Yes, I had a feeling it would look good on you.
All of a sudden I could see again. What exactly looked good on me I wasn't sure, but I could tell there was something on my head. It was a bit uncomfortable, but at the same time, really warm. And then Grandmother clued me in on the mystery.
This is a riding hood. Now we match.
He clapped me on the back.
With this, maybe now you can hold your head up high.
Grandma and this strange kid that we don't even know his name. He's our friend, but we don't even know his name. They're so much nicer to us than our own mom. She gave us a fucking complex. Our mom is an asshole, and Grandma's so nice. Go, Grandmother! What a big heart you have!
The better to love you with, little strange child.
Oh! I had to cry. And she smiled gently. Suddenly, tears sprang to my eyes. Wanting to hide my flushed face, I grabbed the hem of my new hood and pulled it low over my eyes. And then I choked out a tiny whisper.
Thank you.
That was my tiny whisper. From then on, that riding hood became my prized possession. Oh, well, baby, Red Riding Hood! Once upon a time, there lived a lonesome boy and his sole comrade. One day, his comrade's grandmother sewed him a riding hood made from fine red velvet. The riding hood suited him well, and from that day forward, everyone referred to him as Little Red Riding Hood. Oh, yes, my name's Red Riding Hood. Is that Indian? I'm sorry. Is that Native American? I should say it properly. They're like, your name is Red Riding Hood? Or Red Riding Hood is your first name or your last name? Or like all of it? What? My name is Red. My middle name is Riding. My last name is Hood. So I'm Red Hood. That sounds weird. Anyway. I woke to find the room ever so faintly lit. The sky outside my window was a pale orange hue, nearly dawn. Evidently a good 12 hours had passed. When Red passed out, I'd used all my strength to drag him into bed. After that, I was so wiped that I fell asleep almost instantly. Why did he pass out, you ask? Because he caught my cold. And he's cuddling us! Now that I was awake, I realized Red had latched onto me, locking me into place. That's fucking cute. In essence, he was using me as a hug pillow. Oh dear. I pressed a hand to his forehead, then to my own, comparing our temperatures. Not like I can tell the difference. Granted, I was feeling a lot better, but that didn't necessarily mean I was out of the woods just yet. Plus, now my temperature was rising for a different reason entirely. I sighed, conflicted. I had no idea how I was going to extricate myself from this situation. I could feel his steady breathing tickling the top of my head. Thankfully, the color had returned to his complexion, so perhaps he was already on the road to recovery. Knowing him, the second he wakes up, he'll probably scream his head off. And by probably, I mean definitely. Then he'll shove me off the bed and I'll probably bash my head on the side table. Yep, I can see exactly how this will play out. Screw that, it's cuddle time. That's so not the right answer. Like, should we wake him up? I don't know. I definitely don't think cuddle time is the right answer, but maybe it is? I don't know. I feel like that would be crossing the boundaries. He keeps saying no, and I feel like this is us being like, no means yes, and that's kind of rapey on our part, so I feel like we shouldn't do that. Let's see. Let him wake up naturally. But then he would be like, you woke up and you knew I was asleep, and then you know, or wake him up and then he might be more embarrassed. Where perhaps if we let him sleep, he'll roll away from us? Why don't we wake him up? Because I feel like that'll be funnier. Well, I didn't want to scream at him, Red, wake up. Knowing full well the tragedy that would soon befall me, I resolved to wake him up. Contrary to my expectations, however, shaking him only made him hug me tighter, almost as though he were preventing my escape. Red? Don't go. Gah! I flinched and squirmed as his breath tickled my ear. Red? Don't leave me. Oh, don't leave. I will never leave you. Holds him tightly. He wakes up and he's like, let me go. And you're like, no, you told me never to leave you. And I made a promise in our sleep. This is how you end up in jail. Is he talking in his sleep? I could hear his slow, steady breathing. Maybe he was dreaming about something. If so, I couldn't bear to wake him. Instead, I chose to stop fighting it and go with the flow. Red? Give him... He groaned in his sleep. It's all my fault. Please, forgive me. A single tear rolled down his cheek. Oh. I reached out and wiped the tear away with my index finger, then pressed my forehead to his. I forgive you. Just then, all of a sudden, I heard a tiny tinkle of bells outside my window. What's that jingling? At first, I thought maybe it was a cat or something, but then I remembered. The night we discovered the keys had been stolen, Red set up an intruder alarm, one that involved a series of small bells. Red, wake up! Red! I shook him vigorously by the shoulders. Red! I could see a dark shadow contrasted against the brilliant orange sky, but I knew it was no mere shadow. It was a big, bad wolf with big, pointy ears. Who's there? In response to my scream, the woven shadow darted away. Finally roused by my voice, Red slowly lifted his heavy lids. Gradually, his eyes grew wider and wider until... He's got pointy teeth, though. Ah! Karate chop! Calm him down. I feel like we should just go for it. Karate. I just feel like that would... We're probably already going to get a bad ending is all I'm saying, right? We've probably made some bad choices. If this is a bad choice, if this is the wrong choice, I don't want to be right. Yeah! I karate chopped him with all my might. Ah! To no avail. If anything, it seemed to only make things worse. Looking back, I must not have been thinking clearly at the time. It might have been the wrong answer, but it was right to me. I hastily attempted to calm him down. Relax, okay? Relax. What are you doing here? I mean, this is my bedroom, so... Your bedroom? Why are we... Here's a tissue just in case. A preemptive decision in the event of another nosebleed. Thank you. Wait, back on topic. Why are we... Canoodling? Canoodling? Well, you see... Don't tell me, wait. I had a feeling you would take this in that direction. Red? Why'd you get all stiff? Choice of words, girl. Right on cue, a torrential nosebleed gushed forth. At this point, I was neither frightened nor turned on. My only option was to wait until he recovered. And yet he's still holding you. After a few minutes of gazing into each other's eyes with our arms around each other. Feeling calmer now? He nodded. You passed out from a high fever. I'm guessing you caught my cold after all. And obviously I couldn't just leave you there on the floor, so I got you into bed. And then I sort of passed out myself. He nodded a second time. He keeps staring at me like he's begging for me to explain how he ended up like this. Let me guess, you're confused as to why we're cuddling. This time he nodded vigorously. Evidently he hadn't even been conscious of it. Well, Red, that's because you refused to let me go. I'm so sorry. As soon as it finally clicked in his brain, Red leapt out of bed at full speed. Whew! Freed from his embrace, I sat up and adjusted my clothes. I like the fact that he's just like, why are we canoodling? And you're like, because you won't let me go. Oh my god! And then he finally, 10 minutes later, you're like, I'm guessing you liked it. Cuddling is nice. I glanced over at Red to find him opening and closing his fists, almost like he was testing something. Red? When I called out to him, he snapped back to reality. I wasn't doing anything. In an instant, his face flushed beet red. At this point, I was starting to get a bad case of secondhand embarrassment, so I pointedly averted my gaze. After a long and downright suffocating moment of silence, Red finally spoke. Listen, yes? Is this my responsibility? You know, as the male partner. What? Will you hold him accountable for this? No. By this, you mean sharing a bed with me? Yes. Honestly, it's no big deal. It just sort of happened, that's all. We just shared a bed, nothing more to it. I see. Were you hoping for more? No, of course not. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. Red, I think the culprit was here. The culprit? Yeah, it was the wolf. At this, his expression shifted instantly. Where did you see them? There, just outside the window. He opened the window and looked around. I don't see anyone. You wait here. I'll go patrol outside. What if something happens to me while you're gone? I stand corrected. You'll be accompanying me on my patrol. Understood. Oh, and just so we're clear, you're not to come within a 4-foot radius of my person. I mean, like, considering the fact that you were cuddling me, I don't think you have the right to demand that. Any luck? I can see trace evidence of an intrusion. He crouched down, picked up a piece of broken string, and held it up for me to see. This alarm is designed to ring a series of bells upon the slightest touch. The fact that it's broken means most likely our culprit tripped over it. Any chance it was a wild animal? It's technically possible, but with the way I designed it, an animal shouldn't have had enough force to break it. I mean, it could have been a really fucking clumsy animal. Besides, you saw the culprit with your own eyes, did you not? Correct. Granted, they ran off almost immediately, but their silhouette had very distinctive, pointy ears. I'm just saying, come on. I see. So is this proof that the culprit was here? We can't say for sure, but the probability is exceptionally high. But then they came into our window and were like, she's in bed with Red, and he ran off, and now he's sad and he hates us. If you think about it, though, Wolf could have been coming to check on us because we were ill and we missed school. However, why the fuck he'd be climbing up to our window, because we're on the second floor, is beyond me, because this is not a Clarissa Explains It All where Sam comes through our fucking window. Like, you know? It was Sam, right? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, my God, that show is so fucking old. I'm so fucking old. Wow. Well, anyway. I see. Now that I think about it, this culprit doesn't seem very smart. Not only did they get caught in your trap, but they let their marks see them too. Are you not frightened? Not as long as I've got you with me. I beamed at him and he tugged his hood low as if to hide his face. I see. Do you think they noticed the trap? Bearing extreme mental deficiency, I imagine it would be rather hard to miss considering the noise that it makes. For the record, it appears the culprit didn't enter your room. You have my deepest apologies. If only I'd been in better condition, we could have caught the criminal. Don't blame yourself. You did the best you could. Okay. I mean, alright. Tripping over your tongue? Gah. Anyway, our work is done, so let's head back inside. Okay. Okay. Tick-tock, tick-tock. Tick-tock, tick-tock. Red and I sat on the sofa in silence, each of us lost in thought. My mind kept returning to the contents of the blackmail letter and replaying the image of the pointy-eared shadow in the window. Really? Because my brain would have been like, oh, we were cuddling and that was so nice. It's never going to happen again. But it was nice. Then I realized Red had turned his attention to me. Are you all right? Huh? Well, you know, you must be physically and mentally exhausted after everything that's happened. No, I'm fine on both counts. Thanks for worrying about me, though. I see. What about you? How are you holding up? Oh, I'm fine. You sure? Why would I lie to you? I don't know, to avoid causing me concern? There's a few possible reasons. I would never tell a lie. Really? Not even little white ones? You've caught my cold now, haven't you? It matters not. I was the one who got you sick in the first place. And in so doing, I put you in a tremendously stressful predicament. You could say the same of me. Personally, I'd say we're even. Perhaps so. Oh my God, is he smirking at us? Is that like the first time he smirked at us? Oh. He smiled slightly. Oh, hey, you smiled. What? This might be the first time I've ever seen you smile. He pulled his hood down low. That was when it hit me. Say, do you wear that riding hood specifically so you don't have to make eye contact with anyone? What does that matter? It matters a lot, actually. I'm trying to get to know you after all. There's so much about you I've yet to understand. And you want to get to know me too, don't you? He already said no. But back on topic. We need to focus on apprehending the criminal. Is that what you've been thinking about all this time? Precisely. I wasn't staring at you or thinking about you in the least. Aww. Really? Really? I mean, quite sure. I'm not sure if you're aware of this, Red, but your reaction suggests otherwise. Also, I wasn't staring at you and thinking about you and remembering how we were cuddling and how it felt nice. Not any of that? Nope. Okay, sure. It's oddly specific things you weren't doing. What do you mean? Oh, God. He's secretly a ditz, too? Good birdie. Red tilted his head at me inquisitively as I clapped a hand to my forehead in exasperation. But just then, the phone began to ring. Who could it be? I'll answer it. Oh, thank you. I'd appreciate it. Oh my God, it's our parents. Why is there a man at the house? Hello? No, I'm afraid not. Yes, no problem. Goodbye. Was it a wrong number? Evidently so. Huh. Relieved, I let out a long breath and collapsed back against the sofa. Looks like the wolf has finally started to take action, huh? Why are they doing this to me? I couldn't say. Red fell silent after that. Here in this oppressive silence, we were getting nowhere fast, so I decided to change the subject. I'm starving. I think I'm going to cook something. How about you? Got an appetite? I could eat. All right, then. Seeing as how you're under the weather, I'll cook you up something nice. It'll be Oh, I was like, what? I saw this and I was like, wait, huh? Okay, no. I'll cook you up something nice. It'll be good to put some meat in your system. I changed my wording at the last minute to prevent any further blood loss. Meat in your mouth system. I'm sorry, if she'd said meat in your mouth, that probably would have been like phrasing. But okay, and I would have thought I was the perv. I love this game. Oh. It hurts. I can't breathe. The next thing I know, I'm drowning in a watery abyss. As I choke, air escapes my lips in big bubbles that rise to the surface. All I can see is blue, and the deeper I sink, the darker it gets. I can't breathe. I flail my limbs desperately, but to no avail. My leaden body refuses to cooperate, and the light grows ever more distant. If only I were a mermaid, this might not be so frightening. But alas, I'm no mermaid. Everything's getting dark. Am I going to sink to the bottom? I don't know if this is supposed to be us or Red. I have no idea who it is, so. Someone please, help me. Help me! I awoke with a scream, so it was us. Okay. The first thing I saw was my old, familiar ceiling. What's wrong, Mr. Risu? You should have come and screamed Spacey. Would have been sexier. Oh, hi, Red. You were groaning in your sleep. Are you in pain? No, just a nightmare. What sort of nightmare? Well, I don't really remember what it was about, but I do remember feeling like I couldn't breathe. This sounds like a residual symptom of your sickness, perhaps. Yeah, maybe. That was when I noticed a drop of sweat rolling down his forehead. You're sweating pretty hard. What? Oh, I see. He wiped his brow with the back of his hand. Here, use this. I opened a drawer, took out a handkerchief, and offered it to him. Oh, right, you don't want to touch me. Okay, how do we solve this? But before I could think of a way to get the handkerchief to him without touching him directly, "It's fine." He gingerly took it from my hand. "Oh, you touched me, you precious little snowflake." The next day... This sucks. I was back at school after having stayed home sick yesterday, but when lunchtime rolled around... What you doing? Did you find where your balls went? He normally doesn't play on like the little cabinet that I have that's sitting behind my couch. Sometimes he does, and I can hear him go click, 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 click. But he always takes his dingle balls and he throws them. And they usually fall on the couch, and I throw them back on the back of the couch, and then he throws them, and we play this game. And then he throws them over the little stuffy barrier, and they end up on the cabinet thing. What are you doing over there? You don't belong there. And all of a sudden, I just hear like a click, click. And I hear the noise, and I look over, and he's just on the fucking shelf because he was getting to his dingle balls. What are you doing? You're not supposed to be there. That's not for you. What the fuck you think you're doing? There's also a candy dish over there. Don't you eat the candy? Don't you eat that? And then he sees me coming, and he goes, he comes running, jumps over one of the stuffed animals and is standing here like, I wasn't over there. You're such a brat. You're not allowed over there. Just not for you. You were so silly. You're actually not even supposed to be on this side of the couch. Those are not your stuffies. Those are my stuffies. They're supposed to be nice. Like my mom got me. I have one that I bought, super, super fluffy, and then my mom got me one that's like a little owl and super fluffy. He loves them. He loves to snuggle with them. So they've become his, apparently. And I'm like, I put them on this side of the couch so you wouldn't mess with mine because you like to chew on things, and then they're going to be, like, ripped up. What you doing? Well, it's because I pay attention to you? Because you're on the wrong side of the couch. What are you going to do? You're sitting there frozen like you think I can't get you. I can get you, brat. What, I love you, but you're a brat. Naughty bird. I was back at school after having stayed home sick yesterday, but when lunchtime rolled around, Wolf was nowhere to be found. Gee, I'm sorry. Am I boring you? Eat by yourself, then. No, come on! I pouted. I used to eat alone all the time, but that all changed once I met Wolf. Gotta say, I never thought the common cold could keep you down. There must be an especially nasty strain going around, or else you're wimpier than I thought. Keep being mean to me, and I'll give you my germs. I spread my arms out in a hugging gesture, only for Mr. Hunter to push my face away. Why are we calling him Hunter? Knock it off. Aw, I'm just kidding. Not that I care if you get sick. I just feel bad if I spread it around school. I knocked his hand away and turned away in a huff. Right, whatever you say. Ugh. I scowled at him. You're a jerk. I just don't get any... Oh, I just don't get any more involved than I have to. Yeah, it sounds like the typical man whore. Yeah, I just don't get any more involved than I have to get laid, and then I'm out. I'm just sad he's our brother, because I kind of want to row it with this goddamn slut. Like, just though, like, I don't get involved, like, whatever. We've got the total innocent little snowflake who's just like, I can't look at girls! And then we have this man whore. It'd be such a nice little juxtaposition. I think it'd be great, but anyway. Because otherwise you'll get emotionally invested. Exactly what I was thinking. I wasn't reading it, I swear, but... His eyes narrowed slightly. Meanwhile, I chuckled to myself and began to pack away our empty lunchboxes. After school, I met up with Red near the forest entrance, and together we headed home. According to him, the shopping district was unsafe, thus we were forced to take a detour around it. Your friend was out sick today? Apparently. Maybe there's a bug going around. If there is, I haven't heard about it. Well, if he calls out sick tomorrow, I'd like to go check on him after school. Would that be okay? I have no objections. I'm pretty sure he lives... Wait, he? Red fixed me with a dubious look. This friend you've been making lunches for every day is a male? Yeah? I see. For some reason, I thought I heard his tone deflate slightly. Oh, he's like, you have a friend. I want to go see him. Him? Oh, yeah, no, okay. Oh, you secretly love us, but you just can't say it because you're so dumb. Oh, I love it. I stopped short. What's the matter? He followed suit. I walked directly in front of him, stared into his eyes, and asked, You're dying to know more, aren't you? False. He didn't hesitate even a fraction of a second. This wasn't enough to discourage me, of course. Also, you're like, You're dying to false. Yeah, that you really want it. The other day he said to me, Keep acting like you're a sweet little lamb, and some wolf's gonna come along and gobble you up. Ooh! Gah. Bullseye. Panic flickered across Red's expression. Yes? Okay, maybe I do not care. Make up your mind already. He turned away, blushing. The truth couldn't have been more obvious if he tried. So I decided to press further. Let me ask you this. Do you believe platonic friendship is possible between a man and a woman? Where did that come from? I folded my hands behind my back and gently held his gaze. Me personally, I believe it is. I see. I mean, sure, opposites attract, especially when it comes to the opposite sex. Sometimes it's not the opposites that attract. Sex. But that attraction doesn't have to be romantic, or so I'd like to believe anyway. She said the opposite sex, talking about literally a heart, and he's like, sex? That's all he heard. Oh, he needs to get some so he chills the fuck out a little bit. The point is, my friend and I simply don't see each other that way. Well, you don't see him that way. And do you know why that is? No. Because I'm in love with someone else. Good to know. He's not a very good actor, is he? Yeah? Good. But just because you're not interested doesn't guarantee that he feels the same way. What makes you say that? I stared at him wide-eyed. I hadn't expected him to argue with me about this. Well, you're a charming young lady, and surely you must have had your fair share of admirers. Sorry, could you repeat that for me? Without cracking a smile, I held my index finger aloft in a one more time gesture. Fair share of admirers. No, not that part. Could you start closer to the beginning from you're a charming or so? I feel her so hard because I feel like I'd be this much of an asshole and do that. I'm sorry. Could you just repeat how amazing I am again? He fell silent, probably from embarrassment. Poor guy. To spare him any further shame, I decided to change the subject a tiny bit. Do you want to know who it is I'm in love with? Yes? I don't care. With this, I had evidently exceeded his patience. Wow, I didn't read that. That's a shame. I sure wanted to tell you. Anyway, let's hurry home now. Visibly flustered, Red took off once more. Red, wait for me! I hastily hurried after him. Wow, your walk cycle looks so robotic. Silence! Whose fault do you think that is? Mine? Of course not. Probably. I think. You think? Just outside the house, Red finally came to a stop. His nervous tension was gone. In its place, a hard stare. Red? Shh. He extended a hand to silence me, then gestured to me in a way that suggested someone was in the house. I nodded, then felt perfectly still. Wait outside the gate. If I don't return within 5 minutes, I want you to go to the nearest police station and request backup. Understood. Be careful, okay? I will. We're gonna end up going in the house, aren't we? This isn't a horror movie, but we'd still do it. On his signal, the two of us went our separate ways. Red headed into the mansion, carefully concealing his presence as he maintained constant surveillance of his surroundings. As for me, I stopped just outside the gate and waited there, per his instructions. This would soon prove to be the longest 5 minutes of my life. Each passing second felt like an eternity. I didn't have a watch on me, so instead I counted to 300 in my head. I couldn't very well see into the house from here, so I just stared at the door until Red stepped outside, alone. He walked up to me, shaking his head sadly. The culprit is long gone. Maybe we just missed them. Sometimes I get stuck and it scares me. It's hard to say, but I found the back door open. Shouldn't you go after them? Ideally, I would, yes, but I cannot afford to leave you unguarded. Psh, like that matters. It matters quite a lot, thank you. What if something happened to you? What if you were hurt? I flinched as he shouted at me. Oh, I apologize. It's fine. He struck me as panicked somehow. Much as I wanted to reach out and soothe him, I knew it would only fluster him all the more, so I hastily suppressed the urge. I really do appreciate all your concern. Will you stay with me then? Of course. I'm here to protect you after all. This is just awful. I stared blankly at the wreckage before me. The flower vases and decorations in the entryway had all been knocked over, the cupboards flung open and their contents strewn all over the floor. Why? What did the flowers ever do to you? Miss Arisu. I could hear the sympathy in his voice. Sorry, I'm fine. I smiled to alleviate his concern, then bent down and scooped up a fallen flower. Poor thing. Just then I remembered the carnation sitting on my bedside table and took off running up the stairs. Miss Arisu, wait! My room was a complete disaster. My favorite bedsheets and curtains were ripped to shreds and pillow stuffing covered the floor. This would be worse than just somebody was in your house and they just destroyed all your stuff. And it's just stuff, but at the same time, a lot of it is like meaning. And what if it's something that you can't replace? You know what I mean? Some things have a lot of sentimental value, and that's just devastating. I looked to the bedside table to find that the flower vase was gone. At that point, I just wanted to cry my eyes out. Silently, I walked into the room and scooped up the carnation out of the debris. Miss Arisu, it's not safe. I felt a sharp pain in the tip of my finger and realized a bead of carnation red blood had formed there. What did I tell you? Red grabbed me by the arm and dragged me down to the kitchen. He's touching me. After I rinsed off my wound, I wrapped my finger in cloth and clutched it over my chest. I'm fine now, Red. But please just get this flower in some water. We can still save it. This should be obvious, but your safety is more important than some flower. I shrank away slightly. Seeing me flinch, Red seemingly snapped to his senses. I apologize for yelling at you. I shouldn't have lost my composure. It's fine. She keeps saying that a lot. We should drink when she says that. After a long moment of silence, Red muttered under his breath. Who cares about some worthless little flower anyway? It's not worthless. It was a precious gift from you. His blonde lashes fluttered as he averted his gaze. I'm sorry for running off like that, and I'm sorry for scaring you. No, it's I who should apologize. I never should have let you injure yourself like that. I shook my head. No, it's not your fault. You did nothing wrong. He still didn't meet my gaze, so I repeated myself. You did nothing wrong. At this, he finally looked up. Thank you for helping me. I took his hand in mine as I spoke. Later, once my wound stopped bleeding, we examined the rest of the house to assess the extent of the damage. Nothing out of place here either. Looks like only the entryway, the living room, and your bedroom were damaged then. Yeah. And you're sure nothing was stolen? Yeah. Red hastily scrawled into his notepad. Sorry. Notably, all the traps I've set have been disarmed. A great deal of footprints were left at the scene, both inside and outside, so hopefully that should give us a lead. Granted, they're relatively small in size, but based on the shoe print, I think it's safe to say this was a man's handiwork. A relatively small man? In all likelihood, yes. Let's see, who wasn't at school today? And who wears a cape that looks like a wolf, and whose name is Wolf? I'm just saying, it's just all pointing to him, and if it's not him, it's just looking shady. And just in case, I'm going to check the most optimal places to see if I can find any fingerprints. Fingerprints? Really? Yes. And chances are good they left fingerprints on the door handles or on the furniture. As he spoke, Red began to dust a strange white powder on all of the areas the culprit was likely to have touched. It felt like I was in a crime thriller. Is she not going to mention this change of clothes? She's never mentioned it. Afterwards, Red returned to me, looking grim. How'd it go? Not well. Despite the level of damage they achieved, the culprit managed to avoid leaving even a single print. That's a shame. Well, that's because Wolf has a cloak that has paws. So, I'm just saying. Indeed, unlike yesterday, today the culprit seems to have been downright methodical in their actions. Why would they do this? My voice wavered. Logically, it would suggest they were searching for something. But if so, wouldn't they search every room? If we consider the culprit's strong focus on you, it seems reasonable that they would limit themselves only to areas directly associated with you. But nothing was stolen. They left in quite the hurry. Perhaps they weren't here long enough to find what they were looking for. Either that, or perhaps they weren't trying to steal anything. Perhaps this was merely a warning. It's their rage. It's his rage because of catching us in bed with Red, even though nothing happened. A show of force to suggest they can attack you at any given time, or something along those lines. I apologize. I'm not trying to frighten you. No, that's okay. Honestly, I'd rather you didn't try to tiptoe around my feelings. Just tell it to me straight. I see. Besides, I've nothing to fear with my knight in shining armor right here to protect me. Are you referring to me? Do you see any other guys standing around? Oh, come on, don't give me that. You said you'd protect me. I lost my patience and snapped at him. Yes, I will protect you. Sono ikio. That's the spirit. We snap it. Finger guns? I shot him the finger guns. I heard the snapping and I was like, there you go. And I was like, she snapped into the finger guns because, yep. Sono ikio. Phew. That's the last of it. Glad we could get the place all cleaned up. Red? Red stood. Oh, we probably could have stood. Oh, well. Red stood, broom and dustpan at hand, staring out the window. I didn't realize how close we were to time, but it's okay. Was he lost in thought? I slowly snuck up behind him and reached out to touch him. Ah! But before I made contact, Red jumped away in surprise. Ha! Scared ya, huh? What were you? Trying to touch you, obviously. I almost got you, too. I winked. Predictably, this set his cheeks aflame. Shouldn't you be used to it by now? Used to what? Me and my antics, silly. Like I told you, mere eye contact is enough to trigger my fight or flight response. And I ignored you because it was rude. I pouted my lips. Look, I'm sorry. Don't apologize. You're just gonna make me feel worse. This time I put my face in my hands and sobbed. You're such a jerk. I just want us to be friends, that's all. Miss Arisu, Just kidding. I grinned at him, tilting my head cutely. My God, she's kind of irritating. Like, I'm kidding. I mean, I could be like, wow, I just want us to be friends. It's like, I'm so sorry. Like, no, it's okay. Like, I'm not that bad. But, like, she's like, I'm kidding. Like, she's kind of being a bit of a fucking asshole. And, like, there's a part of me that loves it, but then there's a little part of me deep down inside that's like, no, this is, like, really fucking insane. And, like, he's right to just leave you to the wolf. I'm just saying. When you get a bad ending, it's justified. Like, which we're gonna get, because I'm bad at this. You incorrigible little liar. Hey, I admit the crying was fake, but everything I said was the honest truth. The fight or flight comment did hurt my feelings, and I do want to be friends. I genuinely want to be close to you. Both physically and emotionally. I aimed a finger gun and fired a shot at his heart. Bang! As I smirked up at him, he averted his eyes and fell silent. Anyway, you were thinking about the wolf, am I right? Yes. Tell me, what's on your mind? Did you learn something new about them? Well, his voice faltered. Just then our conversation was interrupted by an ear-splitting crash. Why did the culprit take the vase and not the carnation? Because I figured they would knock the carnation over, destroy it, because they're pissed because it's a carnation that Red gave us. Like, not that they know it, but like whatever. But why did they take the vase and run? It's weird. What the? I recognized it immediately as the sound of breaking glass. Which glass, you ask? The window pane directly behind Red. Are you okay? The next thing I knew, Red had pulled me into an embrace. As I froze in surprise, he scooped me into his arms and carried me to the relative safety of the bed. Oh, well. Okay, so you just had your friend throw a rock through my window so that you could get me into bed? Because I just feel like that's the long con right there. It was all so sudden. My heart was thumping out of control. Who was that? Red looked over at the window. The answer was obvious, of course. It had to be the wolf. Are you hurt? Oh, no, I'm fine. Once he made sure I was unharmed, Red heaved a sigh of relief. Almost like he didn't even realize he had embraced and carried me just now. What about you? Are you hurt at all? At last I found the mental composure to worry about something other than my own safety. Truth be told, I cared way more about his well-being than my own. I'm fine. I'm just glad to know you're unharmed. He's smiling again. Relief was written all over his face. He totally loves us. Aw, Red. My heart skipped a beat. Embarrassed, I stared down at the floor. Grief, anger, an uneven mix of emotions swirled in my chest. Now they've really crossed a line. I couldn't agree more. As my gaze wandered over the remains of the window, I noticed a baseball lying on the floor. Where did that come from? Duh. Red stooped and picked it up. It looks like there's some sort of letter attached. Sure enough, there was a sheet of paper affixed to it. I would have preferred a carrier pigeon. My lighthearted joke went unheard as Red unfolded and began to read the letter. His expression was so deadly serious, I didn't feel comfortable breaking the silence. But after he was done reading, or perhaps partway through, Red began to crumple the letter into a ball. What did it say? You're better off not knowing. Please just tell me. At my request, he reluctantly dropped the wad of paper into my palm. My heart thumping in my chest, I unfolded it and began to read. Can we read any of that? I can recognize certain... Obviously, but I can recognize certain, like, kanji characters, but, like, I don't know what they mean in the context. You know what I mean? Because they're different. You betrayed me. Oh. I gave you a chance, but it looks like you still don't understand what it is you've done. Seriously, now, you betrayed me is like, I loved you and you've betrayed me with this other guy? If you refuse to admit your crime, then I'll kill someone you care about. And then I'll drown you in the lake. No crime goes unpunished. Repent your sins in hell. I repeat, no crime goes unpunished. It was without a doubt another blackmail letter. Unlike the first, however, it was dripping with malicious intent, and we had a dream that we were drowning, so I feel like we've already drowned. I'm like, what in the world? Whoever they were demanding justice. I had anticipated something like this, of course, but that didn't make it any easier to swallow. No crime goes unpunished. I murmured aloud without realizing. Oh, I looked up to find Red staring at me, his hand outstretched in my direction. Oh, I was just... Well... He awkwardly retracted his hand. He must have wanted to console me. Much as I was tempted to take his hand or give him a hug, I knew I couldn't. I hung my head, pursing my lips tightly together. It's weird that we're the ones getting all these, because it almost sounds like, based on, like, his past, that, like... he would be being blamed for something that we have yet to find. So we have nothing. You know what I mean? It's weird. Miss Arisu. Oh! That's so... Oh, crap! I didn't mean to... Fuck! I didn't mean to click that. I was trying to click the close. I missed that line. Oh, Oh, that's so cute. Anyway, I'm going to rewind to that part because I can get back to that one. That line. I'm going to stop here because we'll just stop on this little CG and then do with the little, I know it's kind of like, but it's like we're 5 minutes over and this part's going to go a little bit long. So I'm going to stop here. We'll continue in the next part and I will try to get back to that prior line because Lord knows what it was. So anyway, I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.